Hi, hello, and hey to all of you watching. So today is a really special episode. We're actually going to be touring Salos Wildlife Park in its current state. It's not fully done, and I will do another tour when I've reached, 95 to 100% completion, but because I'd probably put this at about 50% to 70% done, I wanted to, just take a step back, take a look at everything from a new perspective, give everyone who's new to the series a bit of a rundown on the project, and just show you what I've been up to off camera as well. There will be cinematics at the end of this video, and they will be only taken during nighttime to showcase the lighting around the park, but that's just to save me from switching between daytime and nighttime, but I still wanted to showcase the lighting that I've been very insistent on getting in throughout the park. This is also my first video in this format where I'm playing and talking to you guys, so if you prefer this, I'd be happy to do more. Finally got the software working. So let's just jump into it. We are going to be using Explore mode, and before we get to the park, I have a bit of an update on the scenery around. So, as you can see, I built a small road system, and this was actually a bit bigger, but my frames have started dropping in the past few days, so I got rid of quite a lot of it. But this is the intersection that leads to the two main points of the park. We'll go down there in a moment. This will eventually lead to the delivery depot, the big staff parking lot area that I haven't gotten around to yet. But I wanted to introduce you guys to the small suburbia. These are the American houses off the workshop by Stevo. Not entirely sure, but they are perfect. They are exactly what I wanted. The park is set on the fringes of an American coal town in the Great Plains, in the foothills of the Rocky Mountains, so I wanted to give that impression here, and it's not completely finished. I haven't really been down here in this scale, so apologies for the missing details, but from above it does its job. So what I've kind of had in my head is the town is actually funding quite a few things for the locals and the residents, one of which being this brand new road with the sidewalks and everything. And as well as, their education endeavors, and, they would have full access to the park, internship programs, even careers through the foundation, so kind of Dollywood style, take the residents first. But so with that out of the way, we can actually go into the park. This is the car entrance to the parking lot, but I want to show you guys this direction, which is our bus depot. And it's very simple at the moment. These roads are not completely done. I haven't finished the markings or anything, just kind of gotten them down. But this is where the majority of our guests come in. We have plenty of bus stops and shade and seating. I've also deployed a few of my custom billboards here as well. I really love that these buses are flexi-color. I love anything that's flexi-color, but I think these could have easily just been a standard gray or white, but Frontier went the extra mile. So with the focus on suburbia and conservation, eco-everything, I decided to also have a bicycle area. All of these things are just off the workshop. Amazing work by those creators. I'm really lucky to have come into the game quite late, so pretty much everything I need I can find on the workshop. This parking lot is made by let me double check. John Horse on the workshop. It includes disabled parking, and I just doubled it essentially. Added in all the cars I could without killing my frames. Some foliage work, nothing too special. technically the parking lot doesn't even really make sense, but it is there, and it does its job. So finally, yeah, this is the entrance. It's had a few things touched up on since we built it on the channel together, primarily the landscaping and a few details here and there, but it is still the standard, I don't know, just this interesting shape. And we can see this fountain. It still looks as lovely as it did. We have a small seating area over here. I really prioritized shade as well in the park because it is so hot in this biome constantly. And if we were to buy tickets, we would come into this building, which doubles as a cafe. I'm not sure if anyone is stuck. It's really concerning that people are just yelling, but maybe it's just their guests. So we do have a small cafe here. And then, in theory, these information desks would be where you would buy your tickets, which I think are reasonably priced for 2025. It's just a chill area to recoup before you go into the park and everything. Right, okay, someone was stuck, but I've moved them. They're saved. So this is the timeline of essentially the lore of the park. It's not finalized. I'll give a bigger rundown in the final tour. But the primary premise of the park is an old schoolhouse that was built in the 60s, 70s, around there. Was defunct. I'm in the late 80s, no funding, not enough kids, etc. So a wealthy investor bought it and repurposed it into a small natural history museum. And through the years, it just became a bit of like a wildlife rehabilitation refuge center. And now it's a fully functioning park with lots of amenities like the new monorail. Cool. So this is the first building in the park. Nothing too special here. To be honest, the guests don't even really use it. But it is actually the first entrance to our staff area. We have some lockers. Very simple stuff. As I said, I will eventually have a delivery, truck, depot, storage situation behind these buildings as well. But it is just the standard stuff to keep the park going. And it leads directly into our first habitat over here. Oh gosh. I have 3 mechanics. Insane. But we will get to that in a moment. We have the actual guest entrance to go through. So let's take a look at that. Go back out. Oh lovely, people are coming to the cafe. They never do. That's fantastic. Okay. So this is the actual entrance. We have our tickets. We go through here. We have some storage as well to drop off our belongings. And really simple entrance plaza. It looks quite good from this view. I only see it from like the top most of the time. Yes, I do have the monorail going over this, which I'm going to be very insistent on keeping. But anyway, this is the feature that we built, and I think the second episode of the series. There are benches hidden under these plaster pieces, but the guests rarely use them because they're just not tired at this point. I'll get to that in a moment. More seating, and yeah, so the souvenir and gift shop is it was built over the old gym, the gymnasium that the school had built pretty late on in the school's history. Hence its open shape and everything, and the concrete floors, all of that. Really just standard workshop items, mostly the items from Caesar Creates. And yeah, just filled it up with everything I possibly could. I really like how bright and airy it is. I think I wanted to add a skylight originally, but instead I added in this whale skeleton, which would have been one of the main attractions for the Natural History Museum. So finally, we can move on to some animals. And, quickly, this information kiosk, it will eventually have the top-down map of the park once it's finished, but for now it just has the timeline. I had fun making this. I think I could have done better, and I probably will amend it, at least those lights. But, yes, I think it fills up the space fairly well. Okay, so our first habitat. Yes, this is a huge mixed habitat, and oh gosh, the guests are so loud. The idea was that it would just kind of feel like an open plains, welcoming in everyone, as well as kind of just the first barn that was built to house the animals that came into the park. Hence why it's also very mixed and very simple. So I won't go into all of the habitats, but this one I want to show up a little bit because I wasn't super happy with the cinematics. And the Backstage has improved quite a lot. Hello. Oh goodness. Yeah, the alpacas have really stolen my heart. I was excited for the great area, but I don't know, just the alpacas and the llamas are just very, very lovely. Just so flamboyant. My little divas. Okay, so yes, the Backstage. It's probably still my favorite Backstage in the park. I used quite a lot of sets and everything. Made these doors custom. Yeah, quite pleased with it. The skylight really brings a lot of light in here as well. Sorry, don't want to disturb. So lovely. All three species are bachelor, or I guess bachelorette, couples. I think the rheas are females, the alpacas are females, and the llamas are both males. Cool, and quickly I want to jump back here. This is unironically my favorite part of the park. It perfectly intersects with one of the latest habitats to create a huge Backstage area that I think is quite detailed and pretty good looking. It's not functional at all, of course, but it looks lived in, so cool. Let's jump back out with the guests. Cool. Gosh, that really does look very nice from this point of view. That's lovely. Cool. So our second habitat is here. But before we go into that, we have one more facility, and that is this monstrosity. I still hate this roof, but the idea was a central point for a restaurant as well as the monorail station to get people to and from the entrance of the park. So let's pop in here. Open and airy was the vibe. I hid the entrance to the restaurant back in here in this elevator so people actually look like they're using the lift, which is cool. Up here is just the monorail station. I have some more seating over here, but to be honest, the restaurant is really that busy. But let's take a look because it is a nice view anyway. Stunning. Anyway, moving on. We do have a ticket station, and the lift is here as well. So, yes, hello. Everyone is enjoying it. So back out here in the entrance plaza, yes, we have a second habitat, and yes, it's an ambient one. We have in here the meat swans, which I actually wasn't sure if I was going to include them because they get quite hot in this climate. But I've added a few coolers around the habitat, and they seem perfectly happy. Basically, I didn't want the habitat to be empty if people didn't have the mods. And the mallards are made by the amazing Monsoon on Nexus. I can't believe we don't have them in the game. They're probably one of my top ones for Planet Zoo 2. But they are really lively and lovely, and I'm sure we'll run into them momentarily. But first, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I cooked with this one. I think it looks pretty realistic and just in general interesting and nice to see as like the first kind of... Oh, here we go. Here's a lovely lady. Oh goodness. Yeah, so the birds are really interactive. They're pretty much always on the path or swimming. But the idea behind the area was kind of like a marshy wetland. And I think I've kind of gotten that, at least somewhat. Let's go find the swans. Where are they? I think I saw them over here. No. Oh, yes, hello. But yeah, everyone has loads of room. And everyone is friends, which is fantastic. And of course the guests can look out over this landscaping while they dine. Cool. So back onto this path. These lovely guests. Hello. Third habitat, the peccaries, and oh hello. Yes, see, you can see they just come right up, which is exactly what I wanted. I was afraid giving them this much room would kind of tear them away from being the nuisances that they might be in real life, but they are very much active, and the guests really love walking this close to them. The lore behind them is essentially the swans were the founders of this little colony, and the mallards just showed up one day. The swans were rescued from the pet trade. Cool. Peccaries. So I only have one viewing for the peccaries, but I think it does its job. They're so active and just constantly in and out of this viewing, and the water and everything. I quite like how this does frame it. Excuse me, ma'am. And I wanted the monorail going over the viewing as well. Really lovely. They are fantastic. Oh, and we've gotten rain. Okay, so over here, a bit of an awkward area, because I had the path going this way, but then I also needed to have a backstage area. And so what did I do, besides just hiding it behind a bunch of foliage and other bits? It is now the point for backstage tours, which are not functional, of course, but this would be the area where the guests come who have the special ticket to convene before the tour guide takes them, and these are just standard keeper huts, etc., whatever I needed in this area. The Peccary hard shelter as well. So yeah, I tried to make it look basically as functional as possible because the guests were seeing it. We have bullfrogs. Just 3 exhibit boxes I tried to make look like one. I'm not sure how well I did, but hello. Yes, very lovely. And all the rocks in the entire world. And back here, so this is another implied section where the guests would come for backstage tours, but it's just basically a staff path back to this area that we saw behind the Rio alpacas and llamas. This door isn't functional, it just hides a bit where they would, in theory, get to the exhibits. And back here as well, which was in one of my latest videos with the foxes. Cool. So with that out of the way, we have an actual exciting thing to see, which is the alligators. It is really hot in this biome, so I need to have as many cafes as possible and just places for people to rest. But before we go and see the alligators, this is the Gator Cafe. Ignore them defying physics. This is a pretty mixed backstage area, both for the cafe and for a small kind of delivery hub out here. That leads to the alligators, which we will see in a moment. But just standard Backstage bits and things. I know I'm in Sandbox and I could turn half of this off, but I do want a tiny bit of realism. So we've gotten our juice, our coffee, whatever we wanted, and we have a lovely area to sit in the shade and chill before we continue throughout the park. I wanted this to feel like a British like beer garden, and I think I pretty much nailed it. I can definitely see myself with a rum and coke over there. Cool. So, time for alligators. This was... Oh god, the education speakers are embedded into the walls, I think. Let's just carry on. So, oh lovely. Yes, we have an underwater tunnel, and... Ooh! Okay, wow. And this is why we have the underwater tunnel. I've been kicked out completely. Alright. Okay, well, let's go look at the habitat this way then. Goodness. There are two in here. Their names are Beth and Tempest. Hello. Lots of space for them to sun, enjoy some privacy, whatever they would like. Their shelter is relatively simple as well. I put their names. It was originally just Beth, but of course if Beth was sunning herself on land at one point, then the water was empty, making the tunnel a bit useless, and they like each other. I think they are some girl boss queens. So, works out in the end. Right, so... Can I go over this? Fantastic. This is the overground viewing. Quickly, let's take a look at the tunnel exit, since we got kicked out of it. So this is the end of the tunnel. There's lots of people, fantastic. I'm still not entirely sure how I feel about this tunnel. It was my first attempt. But anyway, hello miss. So lovely. Okay. Yeah, so... Once we're done with the tunnel, seeing the alligators, we have this beautiful plaza. And some toilets, some facilities. So as mentioned, we do have the foxes. And we have some kits. I think that's one over there. Yes. I think 4 kits in total at the moment. Causing chaos. I wanted it to feel cozy and autumnal, and yeah, I think I've done that. It fills this space really nicely, and as you can see, I've added in quite a few den cameras, and they're pretty much always in use. They have 2 dens in the entire habitat, as well as their hard shelter over here, which was a lot of fun to build, if I'm honest. I really love building in small spaces like this. Oh dear, what's happened here? Well, anyway, they have a skylight as well, and this hutch, which serves as basically just extra bedding for them. So yes, foxes, just standing around here, lads. What's going on? Goodness. And the glass is one way to provide them lots of privacy. Okay, so we are almost caught up entirely, because this was basically 3 months of work, and now we're here to what I've been working on most recently. These are mosaics, bison mosaics, because here is indeed the American bison. By the way, if you do like the billboards and you want your own, please just message me. I'd be happy to do some. Find me on socials or email me with your ideas, and I'm happy to talk about them. But aren't they lovely? another moat because I just can't resist. And yeah, a huge open plain for them. But they have above ground viewing as well. And they are such amazing creatures, if I'm honest. Let's go get in their personal space. They really have it nice here, don't they? Beautiful. If I say so myself. They have one keeper assigned to them. This is its own work zone because there is always something to do. So they are very much looked after. This is the backstage, which they cannot get to. And a small kind of, it's a huge habitat, so of course they would have a bit of gardening needed and maintenance here. But let's head back out to the guest portion of the zoo. Fantastic. And down here, this is the access to the staff area. I just copied over the one of the buildings from the original area, and it works perfectly well. Enjoy your break, ma'am. Fantastic. Okay. So back over here, we have another pit stop for refreshments, and I actually haven't seen them. Maybe you guys have spotted them, but there are peacocks walking around here. Sorry, peafowls, Indian peafowls. Hence the name. I see them over there, actually. Must be feeding time. Okay, so a shaded seating area. I really like these structures that I made. They're completely just not functional, but they do look really nice. So let's carry on. We are almost at the end of the project. I have one more thing to show you after this. And here are the peafowls. I think the water enrichment, these sprinklers actually look like landscaping sprinklers as well. And they basically roam all over this plaza, enjoy the shade, harass the guests. I'm not sure where the male is. Okay. But this is the loop background to the gator viewing. And over here is the final corner of the zoo, which I can't believe. So this is a small playground off the workshop as well. And over here will be the next bit of expansion into the zoo. And this will essentially be a bit of a kids area, petting zoo, greenhouse, that kind of thing. I'm having one more modded species put in as well. And that is pretty much the park. Crazy. Yeah, like I said, this has been 3-4 months of work. Over here as well, this will be another viewing area for a new habitat. And cougars will eventually go over here to converge with that backstage. So yeah, I'm really proud. Oh, hello. I'm really proud of how this has come along. So yeah, this is the project. I hope this video has been interesting. If you've enjoyed it, please let me know. If you'd like to see more of this, of me talking while doing things, absolutely let me know. And thank you all so much for the support. We still have a lot of work to do, but it has been fun so far, and I'm really happy to get to show it off in this capacity. So yes, I will leave you guys with the nighttime cinematics to see the lighting throughout the park, and I'll be back soon with another speed build. Alright, bye. Have a good weekend, everyone.